Greetings, fellow moviegoers, and welcome to Movie Central, the place to talk about movies, TV shows based on movies, toys based on movies, games based on movies, and rides based on movies. I'm your host, Mr. CCS, and these are my pets, George the Gorilla, Kyle the Dolphin, and Frank the Sea Turtle. So originally I was supposed to cover the film adaptation of the Warcraft series last week. I was busy, so I postponed it to this week, alongside my other review. However, I felt as if it were wrong to watch a film adaptation of a franchise that I know has a huge fan base, and I know little to nothing about. So instead, I decided to have a compromise. I'm going to be talking about a Warcraft project, but also it happens to involve one of the most popular animated shows of all time. I'm of course talking about South Park.
Developed by Blizzard Studios, World of Warcraft was a massive success upon its initial release, and gained over 12 million players in 2010, allowing it to take the crown as the most successful MMORPG of all time. Even to this day, over 20 years later, it has a massive player base and is now filled to the brim with extra content to expand on the massive lore. Wanting to discuss the success of this game, as well as poke fun at the online gaming community as a whole, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, two geniuses behind South Park, in their 10th season, brought the Emmy Award-winning episode to life. But the question remains, is this episode really as good as people say it is? And how well does it capture the experience of playing World of Warcraft?
That's why I'm here today. Because we're going to be talking about one of the best South Park episodes of all time. Make Love, Not Warcraft.
So, what's the plot of the 8th episode of the 10th season of this long-running animated series? Well, simply put, Cartman, Stan, Kyle, and Kenny, voiced by creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone respectively, are in the midst of playing World of Warcraft, when this incredibly skilled player manages to beat them each and every time. Flustered, the boys try to continue chronically playing the game in order to beat the mysterious noob spawner, whilst also receiving help from Randy, also voiced by Trey Parker, who recently got into the game.
You know, honestly, I find this to be one of the most clever episodes of television ever written, and is far better than most movies or TV shows based on video games. I knew that reviewing this episode would come in handy since I knew I wasn't going to properly enjoy the Warcraft film. Whatever the case may be, I'm just going to talk about the video game elements in this episode since I'm not reviewing South Park as a series, so let's get to it.
I mean, the first thing I really loved about the episode is how it discusses and pokes fun at how online games operate. For example, if you're chronically online, then you're basically an overweight god, and what better way to kill a god than with a big weapon? The episode also showcases how the game works, when the activities one can engage in, such as exploration, combat, and grinding for XP. Believe me when I say that last activity is a matter of faith of heart. However, that's all surface level stuff. Let's talk about the story in the game. The real menace of the episode is the Griefer, who is Noob Spawner's avatar, who looks just like a Mexican wrestler with a welder mask. He's a silent troll that has clearly made his way up to the top, and as you can imagine, is quite a pain in the butt, which makes defeating him all the more epic. As for the other characters, we have the main four boys with their own avatars, which happen to be color-coded to match each of them, but Matt and Trey still voice the characters in their video game forms too, so no need to worry. Cartman is a dwarf, which only reminded me of Gimli, but it still made me laugh regardless. Kyle is a sorceress, who kind of resembles Lara Croft now that I think about it. Kenny is an archer, and he's disposed of in classic South Park fashion. Finally, Dan is a knight, and I figured that makes him the coolest. If it weren't for Randy, who's a noob, but a noob that saves the day in the end. And after that, yeah, I don't have much else to say. This is just a damn good episode no matter how you slice it. And I'm barely doing it any justice talking about it today. So all I can say is check this one out where available. Oh, and while you're at it, tell me if I should play both World of Warcraft and the South Park game trilogy. I've been meaning to tackling both of those in the future. So yeah, an easy 10 out of 10 for this one.
all I can say is that I'm much happier that I reviewed this episode as opposed to reviewing the Warcraft film. Maybe I'll get around to it eventually, but not now. Anyways, stay tuned, as in an hour, episode 14 will be up. Until then, and with that said, my name is Mr. CCS, these are my pets, this is Movie Central, and that, my friends, is a wrap. See you in an hour.